Now we're going to get down to the nitty-gritty of what Indians are all about.
I still say we Indian people are believers in the truth. This is the way of life that was given to your people. You're born an Indian, you're going to die an Indian. Indianness is a good life. You're facing an Indian this afternoon.
Good afternoon out there, everyone. I'm Jason Salzman.
And I'm Neely Soodle.
And you're watching your #1 source for Native American television news.
Native News Today.
And we have a great show lined up for you this week. We're so excited for our viewers. You're watching this Sunday there in Oklahoma City, KSBI, but for our viewers here in the Tulsa area, we're hoping it's a great Saturday for you. Lots of content this week, Neely. Last Saturday, the inauguration of our new Second Chief.
That's right. Louis Hicks was sworn in on Saturday there at the Muscogee Nation headquarters inside the mound before a packed audience.
Big audience. You know, when I went in there, I thought, man, I really wanted to be big for him. You know, I really respect Mr. Hicks from knowing him for all the years I've been here at Creek Nation. You know, he's always been just a stand-up guy, and I loved that it was such a big, well-attended ceremony for him. And he really seemed to, you know, Mr. Hicks never wants there to be a big pomp and circumstance, but he did great.
Yeah, I was happy for him, and I also got to interview him as well, like you did.
Yeah,
so
well,
we'll see more of that later.
Well, you got scenes from his first day actually on the job. So that's one thing that's great about Native News Today. You know, Neely, you're not going to see some of this stuff anywhere else but on our program. Very neat to connect with our citizens in such a way they can see their new Second Chief, his first day in office. And also, when I talk about exclusive, we're going to have Waylon Gray from just recently exonerated from all the charges in Alabama. Everybody knows about the Muscogee Creek Nation and the Porch Creek conflict. If you don't, just go Google it. You'll find all you need to know about this. But Waylon Gray recently exonerated from trespassing charges, some of those things, which is a statement for what side you know, that the judges are looking at and things like that. So it's a great thing to see him back home, and he was able to come in, and I was able to talk with him earlier. So
An exclusive interview.
An exclusive interview. That's what I was saying. There's not going to be anywhere else in the world where you're going to be able to see Mr. Gray coming on air and speaking with us. And so definitely can't wait to show you that a little bit later on the program.
That's right, and you've been following this from the very start. So
yeah. Since 2006. I mean,
yeah, it's been a long time coming, so we'll be able to hear from him a little bit later, too.
It's been big news, too, Neely. You know, I mean, everybody out there
has been followed pretty closely nationwide, so...
And if you can remember back on that day when I went to Alabama, you and I were in contact all day long trying to get the news outlets coordinated. Yeah, so for us, we were right there in the middle of it. So it's a great thing, and we'll be able to show you guys, you know, to be able to get that access to our viewers, our people. It's why we do what we do. So we've got lots of great things this week on the show, as we've talked about. You definitely don't want to go anywhere. It's a great program. So we're going to take our very first break here. Get a quick commercial. You can go to the fridge, get you something to drink, come back and be ready for the rest of Native News Today. So stay with us throughout this first commercial break.
Momesh Harishungigo Imongin Hobidagi Ani Omaga Bomahahoye Imongin Oma Bonchomegigosh. For more information about Muscogee language preservation, please call us at 918-732-7724.
I'm Principal Chief George Tiger of the Muscogee Creek Nation with my good friend Anthony Phillips. As a consensus All-American, an academic All-American, and a national champion at the University of Oklahoma, Anthony knows the importance of balancing the athletic and academic arenas.
That's right, Chief. Statistics show that student athletes are more goal-oriented and are higher achievers in school. Success requires a balanced approach and plenty of support.
The Muscogee Creek Nation supports our student athletes.
Jahojefkat Paul Fixakodos. Iskanagat Tekobachi, Mikusapkajokonman, Amikusapkajokodos. I'm able to preach in English and Muscogee, our language too, so there's not many that does that today. When I was growing up, that's all we had, Muscogee language, and that's all they preach. I could talk my language when I was small. When I grew up, I could understand what they were saying. We don't want to lose that, language, especially our songs, our native songs and the Muscogee hymns. We want to keep them.
The Muscogee language has always been a part of my life, and so I grew up speaking the language, and I've used it throughout my life. I found that people were interested in learning the language and wanting to revitalize it. The language immersion method of teaching is one that I'm comfortable with. It's a way of reconnecting with our histories and our cultures, and to give this gift or pass this gift on to our children. Mado, hadam chihijahlis.
Pumakasam gadat. Ibufanga Nage Adigat Punhayadit Omega Azayididet Omis.
Diosnok, that's true. Throughout the generations, our elders have taught us to preserve, share, and more importantly, protect the abundant natural resources we have here in Oklahoma. We are the original environmentalists and protector of these resources. The Muscogee Creek Nation believes tribal and state governments must work together to ensure future generations will have clean air and clean water as the ultimate legacy. What is good for Oklahoma tribal nations is good for all Oklahomans. Remember, tribes are truly the original Oklahomans.
Looking for your next 18-hole adventure? Then take a look at Fountainhead Creek Golf Club. Nestled in the beautiful confines of Lake Eufaula State Park, large sloping greens and well-placed bunkers characterize the Muscogee Creek Nation's Floyd Farley designed course and offers a fine test of skill for any golfer. Stay up on all the latest gear and equipment with a visit to our pro shop. Have lunch at the turn at the Clubhouse Grill. We're waiting to accommodate you at Fountainhead Creek. Give us a call at 918-689-3209 or visit fountainheadgolf.com to book your next round. Fountainhead Creek Golf Club, close to home, far from ordinary.
If you can just imagine that if you've been told you can't do something, you can't do this, you're not capable, you're not qualified, you're the wrong color, and all of a sudden something happens that says that's not true. I can, and I will.
It was not a game, it was a battle. That's what this game was about. Our people have endured and thrived under abnormal circumstances, and we always have, we always will.
We were part of the early founding of the National Football League as a participating club.
A full roster of just Native Americans.
This was quite awesome for just a little town of 2,000, 3,000 people.
But the bad thing is, nobody knows.
The Hominy Indians put together a football team that could compete at the national level.
This is John Levi, and it's our dad, George. 1924 was when John made All-American. His athletic abilities were excellent.
He was an equivalent to Jim Thorpe. It's unfortunate somebody like that wasn't given the notoriety that he deserved.
You can imagine football in that day, with no pads and no face mask, nothing.
Back then, I think it was more of an impact sport.
The Indians just have that drive in them to compete, because maybe they were always the underdog.
That couldn't be taught. It was just natural.
These were tough men.
Nothing is impossible. Nothing is impossible.
They won 26 consecutive games.
They just felt invincible.
They could do anything they put their hearts to.
The preparation, the people behind you.
These guys are giants, but we're gonna conquer the giant.
Even his own family said it was just ridiculous. What are you trying to do, embarrass us?
They had a passion.
We've always been taught as a war group is that you're a team.
This was so much more than just a game. Now they had a chance to prove that not only were they capable of competing against the best team, the world champions, but worthy of being on the same field as them. Two great teams under one flag battling it out on the gridiron.
It's like a destiny, and that destiny is going to carry people's lives for generations to come.
They decided that if they started something, they would go all the way with it. and that's exactly what they did.
Here's our time, here's our chance. Let's get after it.
We believe if you teach a man to fish, you can feed him for a lifetime. We believe that transitioning convicted citizens back into our communities enhances public safety. We believe that every citizen, even ex-prisoners, are important and are capable of change. We believe in reclaiming our citizens and investing them back into a culture that embraces healing and restoration.
We believe
in reintegration. And welcome back to Native News Today. I'm Neely Soodle alongside Jason Salzman. A great afternoon here. Thank you for joining us. And one of our top stories that we have been following for a long time is our second chief, and we got one elected, Mr. Louis Hicks, and we were there for his inauguration, and he was sworn in last Saturday.
Very big ceremony, as you said. Lots of people there, lots of pomp and circumstance for what duly should be, you know, the inauguration of our second chief. It's the second highest executive office that we have here at the Muscogee Creek Nation. So a very big spot to fill, but I think we did it very admirably with somebody that we can all, you know, he has good, strong character. He has a good, strong dedication to this Muscogee Creek Nation, and he's been a champion of education for many years, you know, with Ryle Schools, which is a Native community there. A lot of people know Mr. Hicks, so glad to be able that you could get some scenes from him on his first day and the great inauguration.
Louis Hicks was sworn in by Muscogee Creek Nation Supreme Court Justice Leah Harjo-Ware before a packed audience of family, friends, and citizens.
I'm really overwhelmed with the response that I've had from the citizens, and I just hope I can do a good job for them this next year, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Hicks, a Vietnam veteran who also considers himself a veteran of tribal affairs. After all, he's worked within the nation for more than 30 years off and on in numerous positions such as Director of Human Development and more recently with the reintegration program in Henrietta. Hicks is fulfilling the last year of the term vacated by the previous second chief, winning 65% of the votes.
I'm definitely glad it's over. I don't know if it's soaked in yet, you know, but we'll know Monday.
Well, his first Monday on the job has come and gone, and Hicks is now set up in his new office located in the executive building at the tribal headquarters. One of his first priorities on the job is getting to know fellow employees and visiting with citizens.
I want to come and visit them, you know, even if it's their home, if it's community meetings or whatever. You know, there's a lot of people out there that maybe want to be heard, or, you know, just maybe want to be talked to, and maybe bring a little insight about what's going on here at the nation, you know. So that's my plans on what I'm going to try to do.
Hicks attended his first cabinet meeting and has sat down with Chief Tiger, sharing their visions for the remainder of this term.
Well, you know, one of the things that Louis and I share is the same vision. I think his background and having worked for the nation before and having held various positions with the tribe, he comes in, you know, with some knowledge about our tribal government, and so I'm really looking forward to serving with him, and I know that he's excited about it, and I am too.
Hicks admits there's so much to do in so little time. That in itself will be his biggest challenge.
I think everybody knows that we stumbled just a little bit, you know, but we haven't fallen. And well, I think we just need to pick ourselves back up and move forward. And hopefully, if I can nibble at that just a little bit at a time, you know, and we can make a little progress, well, you know, I feel like that the job's been done. I would like to go out, try to bring a little more faith back in the Creek Nation to make them realize that we are, you know, one, let's say, body, and that we can, there are some good things coming out of here, you know, that that hopefully that we can bring that message to them, and it's like I said, bring a hope and faith back to them.
And once again, thank you to Second Chief Louis Hicks. Congratulations to him. It was awesome to be able to spend the first moments with him on his first day there, and his office is right across from mine.
Right. So, he looked like he was getting cozy.
Yeah, yeah, great guy. And that was my first time to meet him, so
Very cool.
I was honored to meet him and able to learn more about him.
Yeah, he's going to do a fantastic job. I have no doubt about that. Yes, definitely. Moving right along, another big story that we have for you, as we said in the jump, Waylon Gray, you know, just exonerated in Alabama. I know many natives around the country, the world, have been following this story. Not as long as I've kind of been covering, you know, from 2006, as we mentioned here, but it's crazy to think, you know, how much steam this picked up, and, you know, social media has such a hand in that. And when we were there throughout this whole process, to now see him exonerated and come home, just such a treat for us to have him in studio. And we want to provide you with this exclusive interview. That's what it's always been about. And I know that recently, you know, in the last couple years, you know, through Facebook, everything, this has really gotten a lot of attention. But I think about many years ago, I was just starting out here at Creek Nation, and we were in that little room right over there at Human Development Building, and that's, you know, this had started back then, you know. So for you, this has been a long journey, hasn't it?
Yeah, been quite a while, and it's been fighting them since '06.
'06.
Yeah, since Miko was telling us about it. Yep, they just you know, got a preservation grant and promised to preserve it forever, and now they got a $350 million casino.
I was there with Chief when we came to Alabama, when you guys were first arrested. Yourself, Michael Dio, Mike Harjo, good friends of yours.
Yep.
And guys I know too. You know, and that was something for us that we knew you guys were going there to protect our sacred lands. We knew that you guys had a good intention in your heart. It was never about just going to cause trouble or making a terrorist threat or anything that was thrown out there.
Yeah.
So even for you, when the whole thing was going on, can you kind of just describe what it was like when you were actually being arrested? I mean, did you know you were going to be arrested, or I mean, what was it like for you?
I mean, we knew it was a chance, you know.
Yeah.
We knew it was a pretty good chance that it might happen because who we're dealing with, you know, they don't have native ways, you know.
I think you really kept your resolve strong throughout it all. In fact, you know, they wanted to offer you a plea deal, and you wouldn't take it.
No.
You know, and you want to tell I mean, I know there's a reason for that, right?
Yeah, you know, they you know, first tried to give me 10 years, you know, on the terroristic threats, and which the grand jury refused to indict me on after they seen the video and they realized that they lied. Then they wanted to give me a plea of the last one. They gave me about 5 of them. The last one was a plead guilty, trespassing, and drop disorderly conduct, and no jail time. But you know, there's a lot of people out in the world and in our country, a lot of natives that are fighting for their sacred lands, burials. And if I plead guilty, then I'm saying everybody's, you know, don't have the right to go to their sacred lands.
Right, exactly. And I think you've seen around the country a lot of people jump on and really get behind this. It's
around
incredible. Yeah, around the world. You know, it's people such as, you know, John Trudell, Dennis Banks. We've seen those guys that you say those names in Indian country and people's ears perk up. They know who those guys are. They've been in fights like this before. What did it mean for you guys to have those guys, and, you know, Bunky, and, you know, a lot of the people that jumped in and was part of this sacred movement?
Yeah, it's great, man. You know, they want to fight, you know, for the sacred lands too, and they see the importance of it. And talked to John, matter of fact, last night, and got a lot of big artists wanting to get involved now. You got Cody Blackbird. He's talking with Frank Wan and a Tribe Called Red, and many others.
So glad to see you exonerated there of the charges, and we soldier on, keep on with the fight. Sacred is sacred in our eyes, and I know for you, Miko George Thompson, all the guys at Hickory Ground, and all the ladies at Hickory Ground that have been in this fight, you know, for several years. It just continues on. We keep our honor, we keep our traditions alive, thriving. We keep those fires burning, and so glad to have you in the studio today, Waylon. Appreciate it, man.
Thanks for having me.
You bet.
And this situation goes back some years after they came, the Porch Creek came to ask us for permission to build this casino, and it all started from then.
Yeah, and when they did, we said no, a very resounding no. If people were there in the mound that day when the Porch officials did come in, it wasn't a pretty sight. I mean, they weren't met with the warmest welcome. Nothing, you know, bad, but I'm just saying they knew what our stance was, and went back and built the casino anyway.
On the sacred burial ground.
On the sacred burial ground.
Yeah,
Dug up ancestors' bones were literally put in buckets. I mean, where does this happen where there's not complete outrage? And so to see Waylon go and try to just bless that place, bless that area where family is from, that he has such an emotional tie to see him somehow in a court of law being threatened with jail time for doing that is just unbelievable to me, and it's so great and gratifying that he was exonerated, and even more so that he would come in here and talk with us on Native News Today.
All right, okay, now thank you for sharing that story with us
Absolutely.
and changing a bit of gears here.
Changing gears. Yeah, we always do that. Our last story of the day takes us to Tahlequah. And Neely, I know that you probably saw this in the news too, the Cherokee Nation, big healthcare boost coming up there.
That's right, a huge facility, a lot of money and an economic impact boost there.
For sure, and healthcare more than anything, for generations. And you'll hear from officials here, I'm not going to give away too much of what they're going to say, but a lot of money goes to making sure that they have the best equipment, and that W.W. Hastings hospital that all of us have probably went to once or twice in our life. I know I sat in the waiting rooms for years. It's like a funny family joke with all of my family, but Hastings is going to get a big boost, a big upgrade, and they couldn't be more excited about it to roll out the announcement at Cherokee Nation. I'm glad we were there.
Before you today to tell you that this is probably the greatest news of the modern Cherokee Nation.
With those words, Cherokee Nation Principal Chief Bill John Baker set a historic tone for a press conference last week, announcing an Indian Health Service joint venture that will provide $30 million funding per year to expand W.W. Hastings Hospital campus in Tahlequah.
What this means to us is we are going to do everything within our power to maximize the construction that we do for the long-term, year after year after year dollars to make the lives and the health care of our Cherokee people better. So we don't know exactly how it's going to look because there's going to be some negotiations and give and take, but it very likely could mean more dollars per year than the dollars they gave us when we took over Hastings Hospital 5 years ago.
For Deputy Chief S. Joe Crittenden, it's one of the most significant announcements in his nearly 50 years of tribal service.
Folks, I've been around in some form or fashion the Cherokee Nation since 1968. And as Chief mentioned a while ago, I'd like to echo that. This is, in my mind, the greatest happening in the Cherokee Nation since my involvement with them. I think this facility will serve many generations of Cherokees, improve lives, and that's what it's all about in this business that we're in, is serving our people and making their lives better. I'm just thrilled to be here. I thank God for all of you that are here that helped make this happen, and it's a good day to be Cherokee.
This is a big deal. It's more money, we believe, coming into the nation for direct services than what the casinos have been able to put into the nation since their inception.
Connie Davis, Executive Director of Cherokee Nation Health Services, knows what this means for the future of the Cherokee people.
This sustains our healthcare system for years. My grandbabies and their grandbabies will be able to continue to receive the high quality healthcare that we want to provide. And access, we have been so limited on what we can do because of space and not enough staff, that this absolutely will make a tremendous impact on the quality of life just by access alone. We anticipate this facility will be more than 250,000 square feet. That means our physicians, our providers are going to go from working out of one office space into having 4 office spaces. This will help the processing of patients go quicker, patients won't feel as rushed, and there'll be money to recruit more doctors. You know, we just flat don't have enough docs to see the number of patients that we see. and we're real excited about this opportunity. And you know, clearly this will help with recruitment. You have a brand new, beautiful building with state-of-the-art equipment. There is no one who's not going to want to work here.
This is not only going to help our elders today, help our working folks tomorrow, but it's going to help for generations to come for quality, world-class health care for the Cherokee people in northeastern Oklahoma.
And that'll do it for another episode of Native News Today. Want to thank once again Cherokee Nation for having us over. What a big announcement for them and their health care. And we know how tribal nations make it such a priority for the health care of their people. So that's a great announcement. We would love to share that. And also, Waylon stopping in, you getting a chance to mingle and rub elbows with the Second Chief.
That's right.
Yeah. And speaking of mingling and rubbing elbows, you got a big guest coming in with you next week, too.
That's right, and his name is Brian Jackson, and he's known as the I Believe Man, and he kind of says it, so I'll go ahead and say it. He's full of hot air.
Yes, that's exactly what he is.
And yeah, and we'll explain what that is. You'll have to tune in to understand exactly what we mean, but it is a motivational program out of the Cherokee Nation there.
It's a fantastic program. He's a fantastic individual, and like I said, we could go into it a little bit, but why would we give it all away this week, right? Yeah, we need to have him coming back for next Saturday, but you don't want to miss that. Neely will be here in studio with Brian, and they may even have a demonstration. I'm not sure. So.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, as long as I don't know, can we fit a car in here? Because that's one of his Guinness records that he holds, and he is a record holder. So
absolutely, multi-time. So we want to thank you for being with us this week. Definitely love it when you can catch us on CW 1219 KSBI there in Oklahoma City on Sundays. Catch us on YouTube, and our Facebook page is doing good too, right?
Yeah, it is. The numbers are starting to climb. A lot of likes going up.
A lot of people looking at our content, wanting to know what's happening. A lot of people going to our YouTube channel, so we really appreciate it. We love it when you guys interact with us online. So for Neely Soodle and myself, Jason Salzman, all the good people here at Native News Today, we'll see you all next week.
Bye-bye.